Hey YouTube, doing a video here on aftermarket carbs. A lot of guys I see on YouTube say, "Oh, it's not worth doing a rebuild on an OEM carb. You can buy a a knockoff carb for $11 or something like that." Well, my opinion is if I can rebuild the OEM carb with a carb kit, that's what I'm going to do. Now, this is an example of why I don't go with the knockoff carbs. Now, there may be some good ones and maybe there's some bad ones. I don't have the experience of trying it out, but I don't really want to go through that trial and error process. So, look at these two. Can you tell which one's the original and which one's the knockoff? Well, you can guess, A or B. Well, the answer is this guy's the original. How I could tell, well, this one has a plastic fuel inlet. This one has a metal one. That's about the only thing I see on this part of it. But this one actually came on a mower that wasn't running. And the guy said he put a new carb on and he just couldn't get it to run. So when I looked at it, I saw he had the linkage in the wrong hole here. So I thought that was what the problem was. I moved it to the right hole. I didn't get it to start and run, but the throttle, when I tested out the throttle down and up, it would just stall out, and then it'd be hard to start. So, I knew that the carb was new. I didn't expect it to be a block jet or something like that, but something wasn't right. I thought maybe it was an air leak or something like that. So I did take it off, and I was just looking at, the way that this was made versus the way that this guy's made. You can see this surface is really nice. This surface is kind of chewed up and scraped up. I mean, you're getting $11 worth of quality here. As I looked at it a little bit more, started looking at it, just kind of feeling it, felt like there was a little high spot on this side right here. So let me put it down here. Try to give you a better view here with some light. Right there. See that light coming through? So basically, right there is probably where there was an air leak. Now, I know that you say there's a gasket there and everything, but, the purpose of the gasket is you're supposed to have two flat surfaces, and then, you tighten that down and you're going to, seal off that. So that's not made very well. But the first problem I noticed was right here. See where that mark is? Where that bolt was? Okay, so what happened was when this would throttle up previously, imagine there's a nut right here. What was happening was this throttle plate was coming down and it was hitting that nut and it wasn't allowing it to open up fully. So I figured, well, there's your problem. There's why it's not starting. So I took a little file while I was on the machine and I tried to, file that little section off right there as best I could, just so that it would sort of clear enough that it would open up. But, it would still be rubbing a little bit. So I thought, hey, this might bind up or something. So eventually I ended up taking it off because I'm like, now I got to, file this down. Now I saw this. I'd have to file this point off here. So I have this other carb here. I'm just going to rebuild this OEM carb and put it on and see if it, improves. So I'll probably do a just a follow up on that to say if this is what was the whole problem, was this carb, the low quality of what you were getting for $11 versus an original one. So my opinion, yeah, I don't really care if this is $11. I got to resurface this. I got to modify this just to get it to work. So, another thing here. This is original, okay, aluminum bowl. This is a steel bowl. It's probably, just by the feel alone, this is probably 3 or 4 times the weight of that. So this is not aluminum. So this is more likely to corrode and rust, than this one would be. This is an original main jet. You can see how it's drilled out and kind of counterbored in there, nice. This one here, just a straight through hole, not cleaned out. One of the other YouTubers, he had one of these, and there was actually a burr in there, a chunk of metal from when it was drilled out that was blocking that hole. So, these problems, I mean, you don't want to, you want to take it out of the box and put it on and it's done. Not have to take it apart, have to modify it. So, anyway, that's my take on this. And if this goes on after it's rebuilt, it starts up fine and runs good, then it's definitely, the flaws in this cheap carb. So are you really, coming out ahead? And now if you don't have one of these and you have to go buy one, I guess, maybe you're stuck with this, but to get it to work, you still got to monkey around with this. So not really a fan. There may be, maybe some companies are good and some are bad. I don't really know because I don't really, get into these too much. Well, I should say never, because this is the first one that I'm really dealing with, and not really that impressed. So, but if you found them to be, good quality, and whatever your experience is, if you could leave me a comment, I appreciate it. And remember to like and subscribe. Thanks.